What if you could get your hands on a blueprint for success? I'm not just talking about your career, but for, your whole life. Well, that's the big promise of a book that has become an absolute global phenomenon. Stephen R. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And today, we're going to break down exactly why it's still so powerful. And when I say phenomenon, I am not kidding. We're talking over 40 million copies sold since it came out back in 1989. That is just incredible. I mean, think about it. In a world that is just flooded with self-help books, what gives this one that kind of staying power? Well, here's the secret. This is not a list of life hacks or some quick fix productivity tips. Not at all. Covey's work is a complete, structured philosophy. It's really about changing the way you see the world from the ground up, not just tweaking how you manage your to-do list. Okay, so at the very heart of all this is what Covey calls principles-centered living. The whole idea is that real, lasting success isn't built on some trendy tactic of the week. It's built on a solid foundation of universal principles. Things like fairness, integrity, honesty, and trust. He basically says these are the unshakable laws of being effective as a human being. This right here breaks down a super important distinction Covey makes. See, the 7 Habits is all about focusing on your character, your very core, to build long-term effectiveness. This is the total opposite of what he calls the personality ethic, which is all about surface-level stuff like charm and quick tactics to get what you want. One is about building real, enduring strength. The other is just about looking good in the moment. Covey lays out this journey in 3 really distinct stages. It's a progression, right? First, you have to achieve what he calls the private victory. That's all about mastering yourself. Only after you do that can you move on to the public victory, which is about working effectively with other people. And finally, you have to sustain it all through continuous growth and renewal. So let's start that journey with stage 1, the private victory. This is where everything begins. It's all the internal work you have to do first to build a strong, principled foundation before you can really achieve anything meaningful on the outside. So the first 3 habits get you there. Habit 1 is be proactive. This is a huge mindset shift. It's about moving from just reacting to things that happen to you to realizing you are in the driver's seat of your own life. You get to choose your response. Next, begin with the end in mind. This is all about vision. It's asking yourself, where do I want to end up? So that every single step you take is actually going in the right direction. And third, put first things first. This is pure, disciplined action. Learning to organize your life around what's deeply important, not just the urgent noise that's always screaming for your attention. Okay, so once you've started to master yourself, you're ready for the public victory. This is where that internal character work starts to pay off in your interactions with other people. It's all about moving from being independent to becoming interdependent. Now, the next 3 habits are all about working together effectively. Think win-win. This is a mindset that says life isn't a zero-sum game. You're always looking for a solution that benefits everyone involved. Then you've got seek first to understand, then to be understood. This one is a game changer in communication. It forces you to actually listen with real empathy, to diagnose a situation fully before you jump in with your own solution. And finally, synergize. This is the magic that happens when you combine that win-win attitude with deep understanding. You end up creating solutions that are way better than what anyone could have come up with on their own. And Covey is brilliant at making these big ideas really practical with simple metaphors. One of the best is the emotional bank account. Think about it. Every time you keep a promise, really listen to someone, or just show kindness, you're making a deposit. Every time you break trust or are dishonest, it's a withdrawal. So a high trust relationship, that just means you have a really high balance in the bank. It's so simple, but so powerful. And that brings us to the final habit, the one that honestly makes all the others possible. Habit 7, sharpen the saw, is all about taking the time to preserve and enhance the single greatest asset you have, which is, of course, you. Now, this isn't just about taking a vacation when you're burnt out. It's a balanced, ongoing process of renewal across 4 really important areas of your life: your physical health, your mental sharpness, your emotional well-being, and your spiritual side. If you neglect any one of these, believe me, the whole system starts to wobble. So, decades later, what's the verdict? In our crazy, fast-paced world, does this deep, principled-centered approach still hold up? The answer is a resounding yes, absolutely. And its relevance goes way beyond just personal development. The 7 Habits has pretty much become the go-to playbook for leadership in some of the biggest companies in the world. And why is that? because it teaches leaders how to build a culture based on trust, integrity, and a real sense of shared purpose. And that right there is the foundation of any great organization.
But of course, it's not some magic pill. The good news is the principles are totally timeless and the frameworks are super practical. The catch? This is not a passive read. It requires serious, genuine commitment. For some, the language can feel a little formal or philosophical, and honestly, the results you get are 100% dependent on how consistently you apply these habits in your life.
When you boil it all down, the 7 Habits lasts because it plays 2 perfect roles. First, it's a mirror. It forces you to take a good, hard, honest look at where you are right now. And second, it's a map. It gives you a clear, reliable path to follow toward a life that's not just successful, but truly effective and meaningful. So I'll leave you with this final thought. If this book really is a map for a more effective life, just take a second to think about it. What's the one area of your life, maybe personal, maybe professional, where you most need to chart a new course?